Aloha and welcome to the dark side of Beast Rider. I'm your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be breaking down everything, the news, notes, and quotes as it pertains to practice today. Obviously, Nate Haas practice. He's good to go. Saw him in the locker room. That cast is off. He wasn't wearing a cast, and that was a pretty big cast, by the way. But no, he's back at practice. He is looking sharp. I'm really eager to see how he does. But aside from the injury report that we're going to be breaking down, we're going to go ahead and talk about what's going on as it pertains to the Raiders locker room. When I go into the locker room on a day-to-day basis, I like to gauge the vibe, right? We always talk about good vibes only, right? But no, like literally the vibe in the locker room has not changed in a sense of discipline or someone being dedicated or not dedicated. I think this team has always been there. They're just winning these football games. And I think that's what you're seeing is you're seeing progress. So it's a good sign. It's a positive sign. I'm very eager to break that down for you guys because obviously I'm your eyes and ears and you guys follow me and you guys trust my analysis and insight. So again, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for subscribing to the channel. We actually are picking up subscribers on YouTube by the day, and it's actually going really, really well. So again, what we're doing is working, guys, here in the DOB family. So share it on your social media platforms as far as it pertains to the YouTube channel. And as you guys are watching this live stream or post live stream, it's all good and dandy. Just make sure that you engage with us here in the DOB so that way I can keep track. And obviously you'll be entered for our weekly DOB giveaways here on YouTube. So again, we're excited. I'm excited and there's a lot to discuss. So we're going to go ahead and just break it down. I was like, yeah, man, you're back on the live streams. I know I'm back. Like I said, before we go ahead and get started, there's a lot of things I want to touch base on. But if you guys missed the Vegas Nation, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, you should. Do yourselves a solid and follow me on all social media platforms. It's in the description box below of all my live streams and all my videos that I put up. You'll see all my social media out there. And the reason why I want you guys, if you guys like the content, of course, if you guys like the silver and black content that I provide, is to follow all those social media platforms because you might be missing a really valuable piece of information that you otherwise wouldn't get on the other platform. So, for instance, like my homegirl Heidi Fang, right? You guys know her from Vegas Nation Reporter, Las Vegas Review Journal. Excuse me. She had me on Vegas Nation earlier today and this morning, and we talked about Josh Jacobs. We talked about Tyler Hall. We talked about a few other things. I don't want to ruin the surprise for you exactly what we talked about, but I put that up on my Twitter, not here on YouTube. So again, you're going to want to follow me on all these social media platforms. So if you have a question, it's already been covered, right? So that's why I like to do, because there's going to be no drop off from production. We're on the go and we're just going to keep on going and keep on doing what we're doing. And again, the grind don't stop. You know, the journey never ends and the beast never quits. So here we go. Nation Nightmare says, salute beast. We got Austin Martinez in the house. How you doing, Austin? He says, aloha beast. Aloha. How are you doing? And by the way, speaking of the Aloha vibes, the 808 chapter over in Hawaii just reached out to me. I checked the folder, and if you don't join the 808 Facebook group, go ahead and do so. And let me just pull it up for you guys so you guys know. Everyone's on everyone who says you have a Facebook. Everyone has a Facebook for real. Because when you log in and where you have to do something, it's like, do you want to authenticate through Facebook? And it's like, oh, yeah, everyone has a Facebook. All right. Anyways, Turbo Duran says, what's up, Beast? Beast Rider, stop by, say what's up, and go Raiders. There you go, Turbo Duran. How you doing, man? I haven't seen you in a while, but thank you so much for chiming in, bro. I appreciate it. All right, Raw Sports says, get your hands on a signed Max Crosby jersey. Your channel will go wild. Max Crosby, one of the best, if not the best defensive player in my grading system right now. I am really, I told you guys during the training camp that this guy's a real deal. And it's not like we didn't know he was a real deal. He was a second team All-Pro last year, right? And so when you talk about Pro Bowl talent, that's one thing. When you talk about All-Pro talent, that's on a different level. Then when you talk about first-team All-Pro talent, that's on elite level, right? You're talking about the cream of the crop. So, yes, I think Max Crosby, when someone asked me, is the PFF grades off? Hey, that's why I have my own grades. Because Max Crosby, there was no drop-off in production in my grading system. So, proof is in the pudding. GM Dave Ziegler even went on record saying it. If you guys follow the Raiders on YouTube, you guys should do that because they provide great content. and it's the Raiders. So why wouldn't you follow them? So aside from following me, follow the Raiders too, and you'll provide great content. JT the Brick spoke with GM Dave Ziegler, and GM Dave Ziegler talked about if Max Crosby should be Defensive Player of the Year. Thus far, of course, because there's still a lot of football to be played. And he said yes. He said yes. I mean, what he does in not only as a pass rusher, but the negative plays that he provides for the defense. And look, I talked about it with Coach Graham. You guys know when I posted up the question on the YouTube channel, you guys know I posted my interviews and I talked to Coach Graham. I said, hey, man, have you ever had a player like Max Crosby who can do a multitude of different things on any given play? And he's like, of course he's not going to give me, oh, yeah, he's the best one I had. Because then it's like, oh, you had other great players, right? So you had like JPP. You had, I don't know, the defensive tackles that he had with your Vince Wilfork, right? And you had a few other players. But you know, I mean, let's face it, Max Crosby is just different. Like if you were to ask me, and this is not me being biased because I don't care one way or the other. I just keep it 100. You guys know about that. You guys know that about me. But if you're to ask me if Max Crosby is better than JPP, I would say yes. And it comes down to run support. I think what Max Crosby does in his backside pursuit, nonstop motor, and how I watch him throughout training camp and practice and how he just goes about his business, there's no one that really touches Max Crosby. And then, you know, coming from San Francisco, right? You know, you look at some of the guys that I've covered, like the Patrick Willises, the Navarro Bowmans, the Frank Gores, right? And you look at that and you're saying, man, these guys have the unquestioned, undying work ethic. Well, you see the same thing in Max Crosby. So to me, it's not surprising that Max Crosby is having the year that he's having. In fact, I think that it's expected because he expects so much of himself. You know, when you put yourself to a higher standard, you're going to be your own hardest critic. Like for me, when I bodybuild and when I work out, like people say I look good, but I think I look like crap. And that's just me being real with myself. And people say, oh, you have body dysmorphia. No, man, this is like, I'm on that level where I know where I can be in order for me to look good. And even if I did look good, I'd be like, nah, man, I don't look good enough. Because you're always pushing the envelope, right? People who compete at the highest level and do it very successfully always push themselves to be even greater than what that expectation is. So if you set the bar here and you meet that, are you going to slack off? No, well, some people do, but you're going to want to go and up it, right? And that's how the Raider way is established. And it all starts with guys like Max Crosby, who set the prime example both on and off the football field. I just love what Max Crosby brings to the table. I like him as a player. He's good off the field, very professional, and the guy just has the guy could probably run. I mean, I burned 1,000 calories on the Stairmaster in under 40 minutes. I'm pretty sure he could do the same. I'm just saying, pretty sure he could do the same. All right, the Raider Room, B salute. How you doing, the Raider Room? Thank you so much for hollering at me on Instagram and also showing me love all the time. SVT Vasquez, you too, man. You always follow me on IG and share the love, and you spotted me on Raiders.com because you are on the Raiders YouTube as a subscriber. So that's pretty cool. And I didn't know I had no idea I was on TV in the background. I did not know. Thank you for pointing that out. And of course, I had my Bama beanie on. But no, let's go ahead and talk about the injury report. And again, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to tell you guys, man, subscribe to the channel. Look, the bigger we get, the bigger the prizes. Like, for instance, I'm giving away 49ers tickets, season tickets. I know you guys aren't Niner fans, but I'm just saying, when I was covering the 49ers, I was giving away my own season tickets. They're my tickets. I pay for them, and I don't get a discount on it. Good seats, actually the best seats in the house. And I just donate those tickets. It's all for you guys. So I'm doing the same thing that I did with the Niners here. So the bigger we get, obviously this is my first year. So in order to get there, we have to grow. We have to grow. But we are running DLB giveaways, and we're running jersey giveaways. We're running DLB swag. We'll come out with our Dark Side of Beast Rider swag. So that includes t-shirts, beanies, hats, you name it, sweatshirts, unisex pullover hoodies, cropped hoodies, the whole 9 yards, man. We're going to do it live here in the DLB, just like I did it back in the Bay with Bay Area Rooted. But this is what we're giving away. We're giving away this 2022 alumni towel. We gave one away earlier in the year. And we're going to give this away again. So, because we have multiple, obviously. And so we're going to do this giveaway right here. So I just wanted to say, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And look, it's in your best interest to share, like it, and then also engage with me. So that way you guys can win. Like, I want you guys to win. We're winners. And sorry, it reminds me of the Mike Singletary rant when Vernon Davis walked off the field. I think it was against where he actually wasn't walked off. He was thrown off the field. And Mike Singletary's like, we want winners. I want players who want to win. Oh, man. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just look up Mike Singletary rant, Vernon Davis, and I was at that game, by the way, sitting front row on the 20-yard line, and I can kind of hear what they were saying. I'm not going to repeat it, but there's some words there. Mike Singletary didn't have to say too much. Let's just put it that way for Vernon Davis to get the message. I love Vernon, by the way. Worked with him for many years, both on and off the football field. Covered a lot of his stuff that he did. Yeah. Crazy. DMS 4200 says, I've been hearing talks about Waller faking the injury. Have you heard anything about that? I talked about the Darren Waller injury. Look, I'm not going to say one way or the other if he's faking it or not, because I think once you go down that rabbit hole, you can never get yourself out because you can't say you didn't say it. But let's put it this way. The Beast receipt's already out there. When he was practicing, what I say, if you guys follow me on YouTube, go look at that YouTube video that I posted of Darren Waller earlier. I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago. I say he was looking sharp, and then people were like, oh man, expecting him to play, and then he was not playing. Then he got sent to IR. So like for me to report that he's looking sharp in practice, but then still hasn't seen the field, you be the judge on that. I'm not saying one way or the other. Look at, he could, for all I know, he has a high tolerance for pain, and but to me, he looks fine. To me, he looks fine, but I'm not going to say one way or the other. If he's faking it, I would never say that because, like I said, once you go through that rabbit hole, you can never get yourself back up. So I think, and also you're challenging the kid's character. I'm not going to do that. So I'm not going to go and answer that one way or the other. But I will say that the report that I put out there, based on the watching practice, is he looked sharp. Let me just go and find that video for you. I'll even post it up for you. But no, let's go ahead and talk about the injury report first. Because, Darren Waller's on IR. It's pointless talking about him right now. All right, Andrew Billings has a fibula injury. He was limited in practice. Brandon Bolden has a calf injury. He was also limited for the second day in a row. Darian Butler, the undrafted rookie free agent, one of 4 to make the 53-man roster, along with Sam Webb and obviously Luke Masterson and a few others. He was dealing with an elbow injury, but he's been a full participant throughout. Derek Carr has been dealing with a back problem, but he's been a full participant this week. Duron Harmon ran into him today inside the Raiders locker room. He was dealing with a shoulder injury, but he looks fine to me. He looks ready to go. I wouldn't be too concerned with Duron Harmon. Jesper Horsted still out with a concussion, going through concussion protocol. Running back Josh Jacobs, again, ran into him today. I always talk to Josh. JJ's a great guy, man. Great person. Like I said, for selfish reasons, I want the team to resign him. Ultimately, are they going to do it? Tune in to Heidi Fang and Vegas Nation reporter with Las Vegas Review Journal. She actually asked me that question. I broke it down. But I broke it down in here too. If you follow me here, you're not missing anything. I talked about not giving them this. Look, it's not what I want them to do. It's what I expect them to do. If they were to slap a tag on Josh Jacobs, I don't think they would slap the franchise tag on him, because then you're obligated to give Josh Jacobs top 5 money. Not saying he's not worth it. I'm just saying exactly, like I said, I'm not saying what I would do. Shit. If it was me, I'd give Josh Jacobs the world, man. But it ain't up to me. It's what I expect, what I anticipate GM Dave Ziegler to do. I think he's going to, if there's any tag, it's going to be the transition tag. And the reason for that is because you're not guaranteeing him top 5 money, but you're going to guarantee him top 10 money. Aside from that, guaranteeing top 10 money, once you slap him with the transition tag, another team can obviously sign him to an offer sheet, but then the Raiders have time to match it. So let's be honest about this. And I talked about it with Heidi earlier. I'm not going to delve too much into it because I do want you guys to check out that podcast. But I said, look, If GM Dave Ziegler ran the financials, which he did because he's a top 5 GM in my estimation, if he's not willing to pick up Josh Jacobs' 5th-year option, right, at $10 million, what makes you think he's going to do the same by franchise tagging him after the season's over? We knew what we were getting with Josh Jacobs anyway going into year 5, because anybody who understands football knows that players, regardless of where they're at, they ball out in contract years. That's just how it goes. And why do they do that? For a number of different reasons. One, the NFL is short-lived. The average lifespan for an NFL player is 2 to 3 years. But we're talking about Josh Jacobs, first-round pick, so you know he's going to be there for 10-plus years. Secondly, you know that a guy who is that good is going to want a front-loaded contract, not a back-loaded deal. The people who take back-loaded deals are people who aren't really good, who are inconsistent. I shouldn't say not very good. That's horrible to say. They're inconsistent. So they don't have the leverage that a Josh Jacobs has. So that's what I'm saying. Slap him with the transition tag, give him top 10 money, show him, hey, look, man, we think you're one of the best. Go ahead and see what you can get out there. And then now you can come back to the table. And if we want to match, we'll match it. If not, we have Zeus White waiting in the wings. I would want them to re-sign Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is arguably my favorite player on the team. And then saying that he's my favorite player, yeah, I like Josh Jacobs both on and off the football. I think he's a really good guy. And obviously he's the best running back in the NFL right now in terms of rushing yards right now. He leads the league. So there you have it. There you have it. Josh Jacobs, true professional. But either way, I think you have to look at it from GM Dave Ziegler's standpoint too, because you have to take the emotional dynamic out of it too, right? Because it's like, okay, if you can find a running back later in later rounds, is it better well served? And what's the lifespan of the running back position anyways? In a pass-happy NFL, long are the days where you needed an Emmitt Smith. Like I said, long are the days where you needed a Ricky Watters. Long are the days where you really needed a workhorse back like Natron Means. Speaking of the Chargers, right? I mean, we can go down the list. Long are the days where we really needed a guy like, I don't know, like think of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Barry Foster, all right? Barry Sanders, right? Today's NFL is a lot different than what it was back then. So I think, again, the value of having a Josh Jacobs on your team is very valuable, because how many Josh Jacobs are there in the NFL? But at the same time, there's also holes on other parts of the roster, and you didn't draft Zeus White and Britton Brown to ride the pine, especially in your first year as GM. You want to see what these guys can do. And I talked to Zeus White on a day-to-day basis. I talked to Britton Brown on a day-to-day basis. I talked to Josh Jacobs on a day-to-day basis. Amir Abdullah. I mean, that's a tight-knit running back room. Usually when competition, of course you want competition. Iron sharpens iron. If you don't have that, then you have a bad coach. Because if you can't get guys to compete, what the hell are we doing? I'm just saying. And I've seen it happen. I'm not going to sit here and say what's coaching staff, but I've seen it happen where it's kind of like, man, how come you can't rally the troops, man? But no, I really hope that they re-sign Josh Jacobs at the end of the day. Ultimately, I don't know how that's gonna be. I don't know how that's gonna play out. But let's get back to the injury report. So Colton Miller has a shoulder injury. He was limited. Kendall Vickers had a back injury, but he was he was a full participant. Colton Miller was. He was limited yesterday. Kendall Vickers was limited yesterday and did not partake in practice today. So I don't know what's going on. He's dealing with a back injury. Also, he was a healthy scratch last week. So it's interesting. Alex Bars had his knee injury. He wasn't listed on the injury report, but he was a full participant. Not worried about him. Lester Cotton, who I talked to in the locker room today, he was dealing with a calf injury, but he was a full participant. Denzel Perriman, who I talked yesterday, he was not listed, but he was a limited participant today, so I'm not worried about him. The only people that you really need to be worried about is Jesper Horsted, who has a concussion, and Kendall Vickers, who did not partake in practice today. As for the Los Angeles Chargers, Nasir Adderley, one of, I believe it's 4 Delaware players to ever be drafted. Active players to be in the NFL. Obviously, Bilal Nichols is another one, and Joe Flacco is another one. Anyways, talking about freaking college here. Nasir Adderley, strong safety, free safety, whatever you want to call it, was limited in practice both today and yesterday. Bryce Callahan, the nickelback, has been dealing with a groin injury. He did not partake in practice yesterday, but he was a full participant today. He should be good to go. Corey Linsley which I tweeted out, has a concussion. He's in concussion protocol, just like Jesper Horsted is with the Las Vegas Raiders. So that's a 1-to-1. Kenneth Murray had a wrist injury, but he was a full participant. Trey Pipkins, the third, has a knee injury. He did not partake in practice at all. So that's 2 offensive linemen right there. Obviously, Jamari Salyer has a knee injury. He was a full participant. Jamari Salyer, if I'm not mistaken, played at Georgia. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mike Williams, that's the biggest one for me outside of Corey Linsley. Mike Williams has an ankle injury, and he did not partake in practice over the last 2 days. So I would think he would be listed as questionable based on tomorrow's injury report, which is Friday. And if it was up to me, I think he'd be limited. I don't think he'd go from did not participate to full participant on the last day before the injury report comes out. I don't know. That's just me. The Raiders says, Beast, what are your thoughts on Max versus Nick Bosa conversation every year? I think it's a good conversation to have. Look, I graded both players ever since they came into the league. And I think if I'm being 100% honest, I think Nick Bosa had the upper edge through the first few years. But Max Crosby, especially this year, has been playing a little bit better. Now, that's not saying that Nick Bosa is not playing well. In fact, let's run the grades. I have the grades right here. Let me just pull that up for you so you guys know exactly what's going on in my grading system as we speak. All right, so Max Crosby, he's graded at a 7.9 out of a 10, which is 79 out of 100 if you want to compare it to PFF. Nick Bosa is graded right now. I still have to grade week 12, but he's graded at an 8.5. The problem is the best ability is durability, right? And if you're not durable, Nick Bosa gets hurt a lot, right? In week 5, he was hurt against the Panthers. He had a groin injury in week 2, in the second quarter. Gosh, I can't even talk. And then the following week against the Falcons, he didn't even play because of that groin injury. So injuries do play a role in the grading system because, again, at the end of the day, although he may be graded higher overall, the sample size of snaps are limited compared to a guy like Max Crosby. And again, when I look at it as this, like, okay, the guy's playing great, but like he's only playing 75% of the games. Like that doesn't do the team any good. Like if you're hurt all the time, what good is that? I don't know. But anyways, Nick Bosa still an all-pro for sure. Hands down, top 5 edge rusher in the entire NFL. I mean, every year he can fight for defensive player of the year. Max Crosby this year just having a better year. Slightly, not by much, but slightly better year. And if you're looking at it, if you're to ask me who the top 5 edge rushers are, and I know Micah Parsons is a linebacker, but the way the Dallas Cowboys like to use him, they use him more as an edge rusher and third down passing obvious situations. Let's not get it twisted, all right? So he's more used as a 4-3 defensive end, manning up the Leo position. But with that being said, let's take a look at it. I have Max Crosby ranked number 1. I have Nick Bosa ranked number 2. And then as far as my edge is concerned, I have Myles Garrett ranked number 3. Micah Parsons 4. Now, where they're ranked and where they're graded and where they're ranked are two separate things. This is where they have them graded. I said ranked, but dyslexic, right? So this is why I have them graded. But ranking wise, I have Max Crosby, Nick Bosa, and then obviously Micah Parsons right there. I think. And then obviously when you talk about Khalil Mack, he's right there, number 4. So Khalil Mack, people were saying Khalil Mack fell off. What game are you watching? I would like to know because to me, Khalil Mack is still a first-team All-Pro, playing at a very, very high level. All right. Fabi says, how much does Crosby bench? That's a good question. I don't know. I have no idea how much Max Crosby benches. That's a good question to ask him. But I don't think, again, people get too caught up in the bench press. You know, at the NFL Combine, putting up 2.25, and people are like, oh, he could bench more because he has shorter arms, or the guy has longer arms, so it's hard to bench. Look, that's total BS. Let me tell you why it's BS. Look, because I bodybuild, I think I would know. That's like me, right? I could put up 2.25, 18, 20 times, all right? But I'm only 150 pounds. So logically, wouldn't it make more sense if you're going to try, say, make the arm comparison? Like, oh, Beast Rider has shorter arms, so that's why he can bench 18 times as opposed to a guy that has longer arms, puts up 13 times. But then look at the weight, dude. The guy, like offensive linemen who weigh 305 pounds can't even put it up 10 times. But yet me at 150 is putting more output per rep more than my body weight, whereas this guy can't even lift his body. In fact, if you're 305 and you're trying to bench 225, that's like me benching 130, well, like not even 130, that's like 85 pounds or something like that, right? Like double it down, right? Like, or 95 pounds, whatever, 100, whatever that number is. Let's say 100. I could rep that like 60, 70 times. So when people say, oh, he has short arms so he can bend, man, I ain't buying that. Let's go off how much the dude weighs and then start there. Every time at the combine, I hear people talking about like they know the exact sign. I'm like, dude, stay in your lane, bro. Like this ain't it. In fact, I was talking to speaking of bench press, I was talking to Curtis Bolton today inside the locker room. We always talk about lifting weights, me, Amik, a few other guys over there on that side of the room. But today we were talking about bench press and talking about, dumbbell presses and flat bench and everything like that. And we're like, oh yeah, you get more strength doing it with dumbbells. And I was talking to him about it, and it's like, oh yeah, well, when I use the bar, we're kind of like matching up because our arms are a lot different. And so, it's funny to me how people come out of nowhere and be like, oh, he has short arms. He can definitely bench. No wonder he's benching more. It's like, dude, what are you talking about, dude? It's just every time the combine, that's one thing that really irks me is like when the combine rolls around and people are like, oh, he's bouncing it off your chest. Like anybody who knows like bench, like how to actually activate the bench press and get the most reps possible, whether you bounce off your chest or not, that forward momentum from the lockout to when you go down on the negative has no bearing on exactly what the next rep is going to be. Because you can train yourself to have a controlled movement and pop back up, but then you're wasting so much movement on the negative that you can't push out the positive. So exactly where's the science between the two? See, that's why I don't get, oh, don't bounce it off your chest. It's like, dude, like that's bouncing, that's cheating. It's like, nah, man. Like, so if that's cheating, is leg drive cheating? Because you can obviously use your legs to pull up the bench too. And you can arch your back to make the bar path shorter. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways we can go about this. I can argue for a day and a half about this. Ross Ward says, I'm a little bit behind your live feed right now, so I'm asking my question based on your Max Crosby talk. Keeping it 100. Is Max Crosby better than Nick Bosa in your opinion? I guarantee these Niner fans on here are going to be like going ape crap over it because I'm going to say like right now, it's a tough one. I would say they're neck and neck. I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm not going to say Max Crosby is definitely better than Nick Bosa because I would say this. I would say that Nick Bosa was better up until this year. Not by much, but because they both kind of struggled in run fit integrity in my grades. But this year, Max Crosby has really stepped up in that department. I think Coach Graham has a lot to do with that, along with Max Crosby as well, because obviously Max Crosby has to take up the coaching and be coachable enough to take that constructive criticism. And even though he's an all-pro, he's still being able to learn and adapt to the new techniques that are being taught by Coach Graham. But that being said, yes, I think the answer is yes. I think Max Crosby is slightly better than Nick Bosa right now. Like right now, today on December 1st, 2022. Now, January 1, 2022, Nick Bosa probably sees this and has 5 sacks, and it's like, nah, Beast, you suck. I'm the best. But I'm not saying it's a crap shoot like shoe-in. There's no way I'm going to say that because Nick Bosa, like I said, every single year, Nick Bosa can be reigning defensive player of the year. He's going to get one. Nick Bosa is about to get it. Nick Bosa's he's on a different level, like Max. They both on different levels. So, but as of today, on December 1st, 2022, yes. Beast, I noticed we're starting to get pressure from our defensive tackles. Are we doing anything different? Look, Phil, I talked to Andrew Billings today. If you guys haven't caught that that video up in the locker room pulse of the Beast report, go ahead and check that out. I talked to Andrew Billings. I actually walked up to him and said, hey, man, I need an interview from you. He's like, all right, cool. And so he's like, I was like, you ready? He's like, I'm ready. So we talked about it. I said, I want to talk about your game. And so we talked a little about the Seahawks game, and I wanted to learn just as much as you guys did. So I watched the coach's film. I watched countless hours of that mofo, and I was just like, dang, man, like what I saw, look at my eyes. I have bags in my eyes. I'm not just talking about this game, the Seahawks game specifically. I'm talking about all 31 freaking teams that I'm freaking grading and crap like that, which is fun, but it gets like my eyes get freaking freaked. Literally, I was in the dark. literally I had the lights off here, and I have the TV on just for kicks and giggles, but I'm watching film, and then like my girlfriend goes, "Why is the lights off?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm watching film." I don't call her dude, but hey, dude, I'm watching film. Leave me alone. No, I was like, dude, I'm watching film. And then she goes back upstairs and then rolls her eyes, does the eye roll, and then it's bedtime. I go to sleep and wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. It's great. No, are we doing anything different? Andrew Billings said that he's working on his bull rush. That's one of the things that I saw in Andrew Billings' game is usually a interior pusher like that, you want to use your weight, you want to use your strength, and you want to use your foundational base. And Andrew Billings does a really good job at leveraging blocks, right? He does a really good job of stacking and shedding and IDing the ball carrier, flushing the play back inside to his help. We all know, and I started off, I was like, man, we all know that you're a great 2-down run stuffer as a 2-gapper, but man, you really showed some fight as a pass rusher. And he's like, oh, you want to talk about the sacks? I was like, I don't care. I'll talk about anything, but yeah, let's talk about the sacks. You had a good game, man. You had 2 half sacks and you were creating consistent pressure up the gut. And he's like, yeah, man. And he was just talking how he's like learning the techniques and like, basically that's his fastball, right? Why am I ruining it? You guys should go watch the video so I get the views. I'm joking. You guys get the views here too. Look, it's all about the views. No. But he talks about his fastball. Everybody has a fastball, he says, and his fastball is his bull rush, which is kind of common sense in the sense that if you run the grades around other players, like Sebastian Joseph Day, right? Since we're talking about the Chargers, I mean, he has a bull rush. Okay, cool. Bilal Nichols has a bull rush. Okay, so DJ Jones for the Denver Broncos, stick with the ASUS, has a bull rush, right? But he also has a little bit more arsenal to his forte, I would say. I think he used the rip on one play this year, which kind of created some pressure on the backside there. But other than that, off the top of my head, can't believe I remember that. But yeah, you look at guys like Mike Purcell, right? Like he has a bull rush, covered him with the San Francisco 40. I mean, these guys are bigger guys. You don't expect them to have a spin move. Like that would be outrageous. That would be the next coming of this guy's just different. If he has a spin move, he has a lateral agility to kind of like sift through the trash, right? And kind of make plays at or near behind the line of scrimmage and kind of slip blocks and make plays and cheat over. Well, his name is Aaron Donald. How many Aaron Donalds are there? SVT Vasquez says, Beast, I'm going to the game Sunday, my first time at the facility. What do you think of Allegiant Stadium? Dude, I had the review on there of it was during the first preseason game here as my first chance to check out Allegiant Stadium. I would say, if I have to be 100% honest, I like it better than Levi Stadium, hands down. And that's not a knock on Levi Stadium. Levi Stadium is gorgeous. But when you go there, you don't feel I don't know, for me anyways, I don't feel the football tradition. Like, does that make sense? Like, I don't feel, it never really felt like a football venue to me. Hey, look, if you've been to Levi's, by the way, why is it white? Shouldn't it be red? Anyways, whatever. I never understood that, by the way. But no, getting back to Allegiant Stadium, I like because it's color themed. It's black. Like, yo, you're going into the freaking black hole at Allegiant Stadium. You're going to the freaking Death Star, yo. You're gonna die. Like, like that's the kind of vibe that you get, and I love it. I love it how it's like, dude, you're going there and you're like, SHI just got real, right? Like this is the real deal. What I really like about Allegiant Stadium is the food. Not saying Levi Stadium doesn't have great food. They do. But I like how it's themed food. Like with the San Francisco 49ers, maybe they do it now. I don't know. I'm not a beat writer with them anymore. I haven't been for the past 2 years now. But the food over there, right? The food over there is different. Like at Allegiant Stadium, it's a lot different because it's themed. Like, for instance, if they play the New England Patriots, we'll probably get New England clam chowder. We'll probably get lobster rolls. We probably get actually, that's what we had. I think I put lobster mac and cheese. In fact, this is what we had. Go up and watch. I give you guys insider access. Look at that insider access already. Now that I'm thinking about it, I already posted a video up. In fact, Willie G. Ramirez and myself, he's in that video because we were shooting the food of our protein gains. Literally, It was during the preseason game, during practice with the New England Patriots, that week's game. I think it was a Friday or Saturday. I forgot. In fact, that was the day. I think it was a Friday. That's the day that I flew back to the Bay Area and then drove back up here the following day because I had to live here and get the house up and going. Dang, that was a long time. But anyways, it's up there. If you guys want to see, maybe I'll post it. I'll tell you what, I'll post it at the end of this live stream. I'll post that video in the comments section and I'll pin it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But no, the food there is great. The people there are awesome. The tailgate is freaking insane. Like the Raider Nation tailgates are freaking insane. Like they come up early, like so do the 49ers. All right. 49ers and Raiders kind of same kind of vibe, right? The Niner Empire, Raider Nation. All right. Respect. Good vibes only. But the Raider Nation, like they come up, I don't know what section of the stadium that is. I'm bad with directions, but like they have stuff is popping off like in a good way. Like it's all like good vibes over there. I'm like, dude, that's crazy. In fact, Wendy, who is part of, I don't know what chapter or fan club that she's part of, but she invited me to go to a tailgate. I've yet to actually go to one because I've always been trying to get a head start at work, because when I'm there, I'm there to work. Right. So, but also I'm also there to engage with all you guys. And I know, for instance, Dennis is going to be going to the game. Dennis, who popped in here. In fact, here he is. Dennis is right here. Dennis is actually going to the game and we are going to be meeting up. So I'm really excited to meet Dennis because he won the giveaway. He won the Raider Nation rally towel. So it'll be good to kind of see Dennis and meet him because that's what it's all about here in the DOB. He says I'm in J-Lot. All right, so I'm going to have to hop over to J-Lot. I don't know where J-Lot is. I guess I have to just look on the polls there, but I don't know where J-Lot is. Thank you so much, Jamie, for the super chat. He says, really appreciate the real unfiltered reporting. Aloha from the islands. That's what's up, man. And look, I think, let me just pull this up right now because I just want to give the president of this 808 chapter love because she invited me to Cynthia Peterson. Cynthia Peterson reached out to me on Facebook and Instagram and said, hey, look, I like your stuff. Would you be willing to join the group in the 808? I was like, of course. So she has a dope. I was checking out, literally right before hopping on, I was checking out her content. She is Raider Nation Dallas. Cynthia Peterson from the 808 chapter. That is what's up over in lovely Hawaii. All right. So, but Jamie, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate the super chat. Yeah, if you guys want to support, send me a super chat or super sticker. It really helps out the channel and helps us with our giveaways and helps us with staying on topic. And again, like I said, it's easy for us to go ahead and talk about anything. I don't get sidetracked, but no, thank you so much for the super chat and super stickers. It means a lot here in the DOB. Also, be sure to smash the like button. There's 29 of you guys watching right now. Smash the like button and that will help us out as well. So if you guys are unable to donate to the channel, all good. Just give it a thumbs up. That is free. And obviously it would help me out a lot. Literally, it takes 1 second. So just do that right now. There's 29 of you. Just give it a thumbs up and share this on your social media. That actually does a lot of help as well because what you're doing is you're sharing it to other Raider Nation. And odds are if you like it, they will as well. So again, I like to do things a little bit different here. I'm not going to delve too much into what's already been reported because I think we can talk about there's a lot of different topics we can talk about, and the other people do a really good job at that that I work with. So Ira Bowman says, love the content, already hit the like button. Thank you so much, Ira. I appreciate it. And Ira, I remember you. You are actually a photographer, if I remember correctly, and you reached out to me. And so, yeah, I didn't forget about you, my guy. I keep you in mind. And isn't it crazy how I remember literally everyone that comes in here on the YouTube channel? Literally, Ira, you did reach out to me. I remember. I think it was on Twitter. Was it Twitter that you reached out to me or was it YouTube? Either way. Oh, see, there you go. Photographer. Yes. See, I'm telling you, I have a good memory, but I am also dyslexic. So I get things mixed up. So when I get things mixed up, don't get mad at me. Don't hate me. It's just it's something I've been dealing with my whole entire life. I am dyslexic, so I get things kind of weirded out. Ira Bus says, could I have been either? Follow you both places. Yeah. See, I remember that. See, I like to, and this is what I like to do. This is what's cool about the DOB is, look, you see me right now from the comfort of your own home or whatever it is. You might be in bed right now. You might be getting ready for bed or eating dinner or whatever the case may be, working out, watching cardio. Yeah, I'm watching cardio at the gym, doing cardio at the gym. There's a lot of you guys that follow me for fitness, and you guys literally will watch the live stream and do cardio, and it passes the time. I get it. I love it. That's actually what I do. I don't watch my own live streams. Obviously, that'd be kind of weird. Like, like, what do I have to say about myself today? No, I watch other live streams of other people, obviously, or other podcasts like Vegas Nation. They do a really good job at that. Raiders.com, obviously, does a really good job at that on the YouTube channel. But going back to it, like, I always try to like multitask. We talked about that, right? People say, how do you have enough hours in the day to work out? Which I did. I worked out right before going into headquarters on an empty stomach. I didn't eat anything. Get this. I didn't eat anything until I got to Raiders headquarters, and I had a Nutella. I had one of these. I had a Nutella. By the way, thank you, Raiders, for getting me hooked on this. My coach is not going to be happy about it. But anyways, the Nutella breadsticks thing. These things are life, dude. I got these at Costco. So I was like, man, where could I find these things? And I got them at Costco, and there's like, it's a 16 pack. And I'm just like, dude, I'm like, okay, you want to know how much I can eat in one sitting? I'm going to show you. Watch this. Literally, and these are mine from Costco. I'm not going to freaking, but look, at Costco, I went through all of these right now. See, empty, that's one. Empty, that's two. Empty, that's three. Empty. Well, no, there's a chocolate. I just had the sticks because they give you a lot of chocolate. And then this one. Actually, no, this one hasn't been eaten yet. Look, I still got some in that one. But that's what, 4? One sitting. Yo. Yeah, that ain't a good look. But yeah. Ira says, I follow your Raiders content. There's no better source. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Like I said, man, it means the world. This is my first year covering the team. And it's been nothing but good vibes. And like I said, I loved my time covering the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say I didn't. I think what's really cool about my job and what I do is, I think sometimes people over the years, I met people who kind of take things for granted. And I think you never want to do that because it's always a blessing. Like, how many people can say they do what I do? And if I was to go around my own family and friends, I would say there's no one. I shouldn't say that because my cousin does it. But he's not in the, no, he is part of the media. Okay, I will only say like only a handful of people, all right, that I know that are like one-offs that are in the media. But no, it's waking up and not doing what I love. Like, I'm very passionate about it. Like, I'm very passionate about my work. I take it very seriously. I talked about it with Heidi on the podcast earlier on Vegas Nation today, hosted by Blue Wire Pods. And so speaking of Blue Wire Pods, talked to my boy Kevin, who I used to cover the 49ers with, reached out to him today. Had a quick chat with him today. He's the founder of Blue Wire Pods, does a really good job. And we work together with San Francisco 49ers. See how everything comes full circle. But no, what I like to do, I kind of got off track. No, but what I like to do is like, never take anything for granted. It's always a blessing, and then count your blessings, because it's just like, be thankful for what you have. People always gripe about what they don't have, but I say you should learn to appreciate what you do have. Because if you do that, then you're really missing the point. Like, someone always has it worse than you. And that's how I always try to live life, is like, you know what, as bad as this is, like, oh man, my computer crapped out. It's like, okay, well, that's a first world problem. Like, some people don't even have the option to even have a computer. You should be thankful that you even had a computer over the course of the years, right? So it's just kind of like, you have to put everything in perspective. And so I think if you lose sight of that, then you're really missing the point of what life is really all about. And for me, it's always been about giving. And that's why I do these giveaways for you guys, is because, like, look, I may have the platform to do what I do. I may be the one there, but again, I wouldn't be in the position I am today without you guys supporting me, right? Without the DLB family supporting me. And that's what it's all about. It's all about bringing the community together, whether you're in Vegas, whether you're in LA, whether you're in the Bay Area, right? My hometown, San Jose, right? It really doesn't matter. It's just all about good vibes only. And look, you guys know we have fans from all different fan bases. We have KC Chiefs fan here. We got Denver Broncos fans in here. We got the Carolina Panthers, right? Who follow me on Twitter. We have their fan bases in here. Why? Because I run the grades, man. The grades don't lie, man. Like, I'm telling you, man, the grades don't lie. No. In all honesty, I just love talking about football. And so, like I said, I wouldn't be here without you guys. But no, I really do take everything that I do and don't take it for granted, because I don't know. I don't know how people can. I think sometimes we get too consumed with what we're with today, like in the now, that we tend to forget like how we got there. Like, that's why it's kind of like, you always should stay grounded and rooted. And some people are talking about Andrew Billings, like how he's so humble. And, you get that personal side to some of these players that you otherwise wouldn't get. And that's why I like to do too, is I like to, we can talk about the football stuff, but like, I want to know who you are as a person, right? Like who you are as a man, like what makes you tick, right? And so I think you can kind of gauge that simply by just having a conversation with them, not being so like, oh man, like you had a crappy game today. How does it feel to have a crappy? It's like, dude, like who wants to hear that? Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's crazy. OKC Raider 405. Do you think Dave will trade Waller to keep Jacobs and add O-line help? And will Derek remain quarterback in 2023 now that Raiders are out of the top 5 pick? Oh my gosh, this is a loaded question. This is a lot to talk about. But look, I already discussed this on my last live stream. You can check it out on my last Pick 6 live stream that I discussed. But, and will GM Dave Ziegler trade Waller? It's a possibility. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say it's not. It's a possibility. It's also a possibility that they can re-sign Josh Jacobs. But again, running backs' lifespans are short-lived. And again, it's like what GM Trent Baalke told me years ago. He says you never want to buy a stock at its high. And what he means by that, and he's talking about free agency. And when it comes to the running back position, you really have to look at the dynamics of that position. Is it a position that you can really, how should I say this? Is it a position that you really need in terms of you not being able to find that talent or replicate that talent by committee with some of these younger guys and maybe use the funds or the financials into different places, like let's say the defense? The other side to that is, okay, well, price is what you pay, value is what you get. It's the great Warren Buffett saying, right? Okay, that may be true, but at the end of the day, how many Josh Jacobs are there? The value of a Josh Jacobs is like you talk about a top 5 back in the NFL, right? Like, and he's young. So although he has tread on his tires, he's very young. The age for Josh Jacobs or any of the running back position is the age 29 to 30. That's when you're, as a GM, from a GM perspective, you're looking at that and be like, okay, there's a lot of tread on his tires, blah, 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 blah. But for Josh Jacobs, that number will come down a little bit. It'll probably be around the 27, 28 range because he's so young. When he's a free agent, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to be the age of 25. So, which is mind-boggling to me because I can literally be his dad. I'm that old. Or maybe not that old, but you guys get what I'm saying. 25 years old, man, that's so young. Can I just go back to being 25 and just go like clubbing? Oh my gosh. Keep it real. 100 says bench press comes down to who has the biggest bull. Alexander Melkor says, I go to EOS on Russell. I didn't know they got a movie theater in there. I told you they had a movie theater in there. And yeah, if you guys haven't seen my IG stories or whatever, I post like what I'm doing, cardio, and then watching the movie. It's epic. Like, it is a game changer, bro. Like, I'm telling you, like, imagine me, right, on prep. Like, basically it's PMSing for men. I was telling Heidi today, it's like PMSing for men when you're on prep, because it's like you're carb depleted, your diet's all freaking dialed in, you're working out sometimes on an empty stomach. In fact, let's be honest about it. Any bodybuilder knows that we have to do fasted cardio in the morning at like 5:30, 6 a.m. and then get your meals in and then go back to work out at night. and hit it hard, and then be on a deficit or surplus, depending on when you are in your prep. But anyways, no, getting back to your question, watching a movie while you're doing cardio is epic. That's why I do the Stairmaster. It's epic. You just got to make sure that you don't fall off the rails. It's funny. I almost did that a couple times because I was watching the movie and then I almost fell off the freaking machine. That would have been embarrassing. But it's happened before. I'm not gonna sit here and say I haven't fell off the machine. I have. I fell off the machine, like ate it, and I tried to play it off, like, oh yeah, I'm cool. But people around you are like, no, man, you're not that cool, man. You just fell off the Stairmaster, bro. I'm like, I know. Are you okay? But like, yeah, I'm okay. But you're really not okay. For instance, I don't want to call this guy out. Speaking of the movie theater, okay, so this guy was on the bike. If you go on the EOS, I'm the one on St. Rose Parkway. I'm not that hard to find. You guys can find me at EOS or at Raiders headquarters. I'm at one of those two spots. So if I'm missing, there's something wrong, just tell the cops I'm at Raiders headquarters or I'm at EOS. Those are the only two places that I'm at besides home and sleeping. But anyways, getting back to which I probably have to hit the gym after this. But no, get this. So there's a guy that was riding a bicycle, right? And like, I think he got sidetracked because he was checking out the girl next to him. I'm not kidding about that. I'm not making the story up. And so there's a railing right in front. And so I'm not sure if he was trying to show off or seeing how fast he can go on the bike, but you got to remember, on the stationary bike, you have to change the setting on the seat. Otherwise, you're going to be too forward or too back. It's not a one size fits all type of a deal. So I think he was kind of new. I don't know if he knew what he was doing, and he just ate it forward and he hit the railing on the. And so I felt sorry for him. So I was like, dude, are you okay? Like I got off the Stairmaster because I was genuinely concerned for his safety because he hit that thing pretty hard. It's like, oh yeah, I'm cool. And he was walking away, and I was like, man, this guy is kind of stumbling. Like, I'm not sure he's okay. And the girl just like looks at him like, what are you doing? Like, can you just work out? And it's like, oh, I felt so bad for the guy. Anyways, I just remember that. I felt really bad for that kid. Like, oh, like he literally hit his head. It was pretty bad. Anyways, SVT Vasquez says that's Canelo very favorite snack. Those Nutella sticks are, dude, they're fire. I'm not joking. They are fire. I got these at Costco. You can get them at Costco. I think they're expensive though. I think I paid like $20 something for these things at Costco, but they come in 12. I think there's a 12 pack. I don't know. I gotta get it right here. But no, I get it at Costco right down here. Yeah. Oh yeah. Or you can find me at Costco. I go to Costco like 3 times a week. That's how much I eat. Funny story. So my girlfriend, we go to Costco all the time, right? And so my girlfriend's coworkers like, oh yeah, no, we go to Costco a lot because she's from Henderson, and my girlfriend was like, oh yeah, we spent $300 this week on food, and then the coworkers like, oh, that should last you like a good month, and then my girlfriend's like, no, that lasts us a week. It's because I eat so much. I eat a lot. Like I can eat like, for instance, like this month alone is like $500 in food. Like I'm not kidding. Like we eat a lot. Like, or she doesn't, I do, but I say we to make it sound better. But no, I can eat like nothing. Like I eat a lot. If I wanted to eat, I can eat. Like I've been in food contests. Look, people know I can eat. I can throw down food like nothing. Not saying I'm happy about it. I'm not proud of it, but yeah. SGT fast beast. I'm 150 and can bench 225 pounds 6 times. I know exactly what you were saying. Look, you know what I'm saying? You're not talking about SVT, man. That's what I'm saying, man. It's crazy to think when people talk about the bench press, like, oh man, like you're bouncing it off your chest, you're cheating. It's like, nah, man. And then you see people at the gym. Like today, I was at the gym earlier today, and the guy's like trying to be all macho. He's like trying to train his son. And like, obviously, I don't think he knows how to train, but that's whatever. I'm not going to go out and say, hey, you're doing it wrong. I mean, that's kind of like douchebaggy of me. So I just let him do, but the kid's going to get hurt eventually. Anyways, he was trying to teach him the proper way to do a bench press. And then he has the guy chicken winging his arms out like this. I was like, dude, that's putting a lot of pressure on your shoulders. If you like you're not supposed to be like parallel like this. Like, first of all, like, what are you doing? You're supposed to have your elbows nice and tucked. But anyways, I'm just like, this kid's going to get injured. You're teaching bad form. And so like this other guy, this bodybuilder comes up and walks over and says, hey man, can I show you something? It's like, oh, can I show your son something with your permission? He's like, no, I know what I'm doing. And it's like, dude, you don't know what you're doing, man. Like the kid's going to get injured on day one. Like, And then he's going to wonder, why am I sore, Dad? And dad's like, oh, you got to go work out. It's like, no, man, you're basically going to have like freaking dislocated shoulders by the time you're like 3. Beast, you're sponsored by Costco now. Oh, dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm telling you, man, I'm trying to get sponsored. If you guys know a sponsor that wants to sponsor the YouTube channel, let me know, or sponsor the Beast Rider family. Let me know. If you small mom and pop shops would do too. And I would have your logo, just like you see the DOB logo here. You would have your company's logo embedded into every live stream. And then also you'll have your link to whatever you want to promote in there. So if anyone wants to do some promotion or know someone that's interested here in the Las Vegas area and they kind of want to sponsor the show or the YouTube channel here in the DOB and sponsor myself, have them reach out to me. You could do that at beastridernfl.com or beastridernfl@gmail.com. I should say. You can't do it at beastridernfl.com. beastridernfl@gmail.com. Ira says, I lived in Sunnyvale, Vegas as a kid. Dan, you lived in Sunnyvale? I didn't know that. I used to work right off of Fremont Street. Do you know where that is? You probably do. It's right off El Camino. I worked off Fremont Street in Sunnyvale. I also worked off Old San Francisco Road in Sunnyvale. I also worked off Iowa Avenue, right across from well, it's not new anymore, but the Target when they were building it. Believe it or not. Crazy. I basically lived in Sunnyvale myself. Your coach is saying you owe some burpees. I know, from the Nutella. I know. It's bad. Roy says, I've never tried Nutella. You got to try it, man. I'm telling you, you got to try this. It's life. I got it at Costco. I'm hooked on it. It's ridiculous. Ira says, I went to San Jose State. Okay, so you are from the Bay. You're a Bay kid. You're a Bay kid. I got it. And you graduated from Fremont High School. Hey, I know where Fremont High School is. I won the free throw. I was a free throw champion back in 1992 when they had the camp there. In fact, I have my trophy, but it's back in the Bay Area with my parents. I actually won the free throw champ. I was the free throw champion. I was like, oh, cool story. No, of the entire camp, like different age groups, doesn't matter. I was really good at one point at basketball, and then my height caught up to me. But no, serious note, I did win in 1992. I do have the trophy for that. And I won there. And then I also won the shooting competition at Santa Clara. I don't know. It was back in long time ago. You guys were known as the Firebirds, right? Not mistaken. And now my cousin is a teacher at Fremont High School, believe it or not. Daniel Kim says, Beast, salute and salute of the nation. Oh, you lived off Fair Oaks. North Fair Oaks? You probably lived off North Fair Oaks. If I'm guessing correctly, you lived off North Fair Oaks. If I get this right, people are, this guy's sidekick. He's good with grades and he's also good with where people live. That's kind of stockish. There are Firebirds now. I was an Indian. Yeah. Oh, that's right. They were Indians before. You're right. I remember. I do remember that. He says, closer to El Camino. Okay, I see you. Okay. Oh, near Spoons. I know where Spoons is. You know where Grand View is in the Oakland? Of course I know where Grand View is in Oakland. That's where you are? You're from? Look at all these people from the Bay. He says, my daughter is 23. LOL. You got to get on some Nutella. That's all I'm saying. You got to get some Nutella. Nutella is life. All right. So Daniel says, my wife lived in Fremont and went to Mission High. Mission San Jose. That means your wife is hecka smart, bro. Because Mission San Jose is one of the smartest schools around. Anybody who knows that knows Mission San Jose is the real deal. I have friends that graduated from Mission San Jose, went on to Stanford, went on to Berkeley, went on to all these Ivy School at Princeton, Yale. Yo, I'm telling you right now, I couldn't get into Mission San Jose. It's a public school, but I'm just saying, like, I probably would have went to Washington or something. Daniel says, salute, Dennis. Jealous that you get to hang out with the Beast. Look, Daniel, we could meet. I might be going back to the Bay sometime in the near future. Probably, to be honest with you, probably sometime next year after the holidays. I'll be staying here in Las Vegas for Christmas. One, because obviously the Raiders are playing throughout, but then also, as you guys know, the Super Bowl between the 49ers and the Raiders is coming here on January 1. I called it Super Bowl Battle of the Bay, even though they're not in the Bay anymore. But go Raiders. Daniel Kim says her family graduated from. There you go. See, how did I know? Mission San Jose. Told you, Cal. I'm not making. See, I'm dialed in, man. We could talk game grades. We could talk what high school you went to. We can talk about where you live. Like I got it. That's people are gonna get freaked out because I'm getting this right. I'm on fire right now. You guys want the winning lotto numbers? Let's this. How about you do this? How about I give you guys the winning lotto numbers? We go pull it together, and then we just win the lotto. Then we can do giveaways and have a block party with the DOB. How's that sound? Keeper says, get the best car insurance. They hate in cars like kids at the candy store. I bounce between the LA, the Bay, and Vegas all the time to do photography. Oh, that's what's up. Okay. Yeah, D-Man says, I'll be at the battle. Dang, man. Dennis be going to all the games. My guy, Dennis Murdoch. All right, Keep It Real says, if the Raiders beat the Rams and Niners, they go 3-1 versus NFC West. Good knowledge. They could have went 4-0. Kyler Murray kind of screwed that up. Which that 2-point convert. Oh my! I don't know, man. What's going on with that? Oh no, that was just one of those games. Like what the heck? Anyways, as I was saying, hit the like button, smash the like button, give it a thumbs up. There's 33 of you guys watching, and it would do me a solid. Also, if you'd like to support, send me a super chat and or super sticker, and that would help out the channel a lot. And also, all the funds get donated back into the DOB where we can provide giveaways. Also, I want to head over to a road trip, so I have a fund for that, and the super chats does help with that. Not going to sit here and lie and say they don't. They do. So we have that in the reserve. We're also going to be using the funds that we get from the super chat and super stickers to come up with our DOB swag. I'm not going to spill the beans. It's going to be a surprise, but there's something that's in the works. It was brought up to my attention today that something big is happening with the DOB and our swag, and I'm just going to leave it at that. There's big things coming in the DOB, so I'm really excited about this opportunity. It's going well. That's all I got to say about that. I want to spill the beans. It'll be a secret, and then once you guys know, you guys will know what's happening, because I was just going to say, you know what, surprise, but not really a surprise, but kind of surprise. But no, you guys will be like, whoa, I want one. I'm telling you right now. And it's not me that's going to be the hype man. I want to, like I said, I'm not going to spill the beans, but let's put it this way. It's someone that you guys really like. And I'll just leave it at that. Daniel Kim says, I definitely married up. She has a master's in education. Parents have PhDs. Sister is a doctorate therapist. Brother-in-law is MBA from Wharton. And my bro-in-law is a professor at the University of Arkansas. That is okay. So you're telling me that they live in Avalon? They live in Avalon, bro. That's what you're telling me. You're telling me that I guarantee they live in Avalon. That's what I'm saying. I know where you guys live. If I get this right, I'm telling you, I am 3 for 3 on here on where people live, what college they went to. We're not even talking about. I could do this about. Let's do a blind thing and we'll just go. What you had for dinner? It's kind of scary. It's kind of scaring me. I'm guaranteeing that someone lives in the Avalon area. SGT Vasquez says it's the Battle of the Mandalay Bay. Oh, okay. Okay, I haven't heard that one yet, but I like it. Keep It Real says Matt Ziegler and Mrs. Morgan got a football sign, but want to send to GMD as a reminder to never blow a 20-0 lead. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's see what we got. So we can go back. Raider Room says, I want to know what Deuce benches. I don't know what he benches. I do not know. Which cornerback is scary for a receiver, Asante Samuel Jr. or J.C. Jackson? Well, J.C. Jackson has been horrible this year. In fact, I don't think J.C. Jackson, to me, when I was writing the grades, he wasn't graded out well at all. Like he's been hurt. He's been damaged goods. In fact, the New England Patriots really won out. Like you guys know what J.C. Jackson signed? A 5-year, I believe it was $82.5 million contract, right? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what he got. I'm doing this live, so I don't know. I can look up the numbers right now, but then he got hurt. He was dealing with some injuries, and so if you were to ask me, I mean, Asante Samuel Jr. to me, I've been running grades on him all year. For the second year, I thought the Niners should be drafting him over Aaron Banks, but that's for a different story. Anyways, Asante Samuel Jr. is good. He does give up some plays here and there, especially when protecting the sticks. But otherwise, I thought Asante Samuel does do a solid job for a starting boundary cornerback, especially in his second season. So I like Asante Samuel Jr. I think he's a really good cornerback. I also like Derwin James. Let's face it, like name dropping German James. That'd be a really weird name. German James. But Derwin James is one of those guys who's playing at a first team all pro level. To me, he does things that no other safety really can do outside of maybe a Buda Baker, outside of a few other safeties like Talanoa Hufanga, right? And outside of Jordan Poyer. No, I wouldn't necessarily put Jordan Poyer in that category, although Jordan Poyer does play at a high level. But number 21 for the Buffalo Bills. But when you look at it all together, if you were to ask me who the top safeties are this year, I would say Talanoa Hufanga and Derwin James by far. Buda Baker is obviously playing with a high ankle sprain, but unfortunately, he's just not getting it done as far as Derwin James or Talanoa Hufanga. Those guys got my first team all-pro vote for the PFWA midseason grades. So really excited to see Derwin James. Derwin James can blitz. He can create pressure up the gut. He's used as in a variety of different roles as a dime linebacker. He can roll over coverage. He can play single high. He can play a two deep. So literally, when you talk to Coach McDaniels, and I'm pretty sure he's going to say this, I haven't asked him yet, but I'm pretty sure he's going to say this, there's always those few players that you have to kind of have a star on, right? And Josh Jacobs talked about that with me. There's always those certain few players that you have to have a star on pre to post snap. And Derwin James is definitely one of those guys. Why? Because you don't know what kind of alignment you're going to be facing, because at the end of the day, you can do false rotation all you want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to what Derwin James lines up. Like if he's lined up on the strong side as opposed to a weak side, well, that comes down to film study, because then you can kind of gauge. You're not going to see Derwin James go from the strong side to the weak side unless he's playing a cover one and he's playing man up on let's say a slot receiver that goes into motion. So there's a lot of different things that you can kind of look for and tells, but at the end of the day, Derwin James, what he brings to the table, just like Buda Baker and just like a few other of these hybrid, I call them hybrid safety linebackers, because let's face it, Talanoa Hufanga lines up in the box a lot too. And so not only are you lining up at the box, but they can cover the flats and they can cover down the seam. So it's really, really crazy. And they could cover a lot of ground. So they might line up and they might show a single high look like a cover 3 or a cover 1. And then they roll back into a cover 2, or it could be a cover 3 cloud, depending on how you want to rotate your defensive backs and then have different roles of engagement on the second level. So a lot of different things go into play. But at the end of the day, Derwin James, like I said, just like Josh Jacobs don't grow on cheese, Derwin James don't grow on trees. And so like when you have a guy like Derwin James who can really use in a game within a game, right? You talk about playing chess, not checkers. That's what you have with Derwin James. Unfortunately, the Raiders don't have a Derwin James, but they do have guys who are really good. Like I like Duron Harmon a lot. I do. I really think he deserves a second contract here. Duron Harmon to me is one of those guys that you kind of need on your football team, because he kind of instills that cultural identity. And if you were to ask me from a coaching perspective, who would be a kind of like a player coach, Duron Harmon would be that guy. And so I think you really need that in the secondary, because what do you need in the secondary? You need the quarterback of the secondary. Usually the quarterback of the secondary is the safety. So there you have it. And I talked about this with Coach Graham earlier during training camp as well. But yeah. So does that answer your question? As he says, Beast is the modern day Miss Cleo. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Daniel can say they live off Mission. I'm from SoCal, so I don't even know where Avalon is. We live down in Orange County. Oh, so you're from OC. Okay. So you living down in Orange County now. So Avalon is like, it's like the ritzy area of Fremont. It's like up in the hills. That's where my friends live. A couple of my friends live up there. Their houses it's mansions up there. Like it's gated, So literally you have to go through a gate. Like it's not like gated where you can't, it's like up a hill and then there's a gate and then there's another gate and there's another gate. So like you really can't just like go in there randomly. And you have to be on a list. Hi, what's your name? Kind of like going into Raiders headquarters. Like you have to be on a list and you have to give your name. Otherwise, they won't let you in. Keep it real. Keep 100 says Beast. What do you defensive line, defensive end, and or linebacker would you draft to complement Crosby and Patrick Graham's scheme? Look, I think what you need first and foremost is you're looking for the NFL traits that you're looking for in Patrick Graham's scheme. First and foremost, you need to get it from the shoulders up. What I mean by that is you need to be smart. If you can't understand the linguistics or the basic foundational concepts of what the coach is trying to preach and teach as far as technique is concerned throughout the work week, you're not going to be active on game days anyway. So it's almost like a damaged good type of a draft pick. What I would like to see is I would like to see them go after a guy who comes from a good college program, but is also very smart. And again, when you watch college film, you have to be careful what you're watching for. You can't grade the same as you do NFL because at the end of the day, you don't know what these players are being taught in college. And so some coaches, I mean, I've seen it. I've heard it. Some coaches teach bad technique, and what's considered bad technique, it's like depending on what you – if you're playing a slant-based defense on the defensive line and all your first and second level players are slant-basing one way, well, what's going to happen on the backside pursuit? What's going to happen if the running back goes against grain? But if you're just selling out like, oh, yeah, it's going to work, and then there's no backside help, like that leads to a big run. So there's different things there that you kind of have to have in case things break down because not everything's going to go your way on a certain play. Ideally, we'd want it to, but that's not how it works. That's why when you grade college film or when I grade college film, I don't take it into account as far as, oh, this guy missed his run fit integrity. Now, if it's a one-off and it's like, yes, okay, that's kind of common sense because there's no scheme involved. It's just a one-on-one. That's a different scenario. But more times than not, it's not as simple as really the NFL because the NFL, it's like, what they're majority of NFL coaches know what the hell, and they wouldn't be in the job that they're in. Now, to say that, oh, no, there's some leaks there. No, there's definitely some things that I saw at the NFL level is kind of like, But then again, I'm not a coach, so I can't say, oh, yeah, I could do it better because I can't. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it, right? I'd be doing it. But anyways, now let's be real. There's some bad coaches. I'm not going to sit here and lie. There's some bad coaches. Sorry, not sorry. Did you look – but not on the Raiders coaching staff. I love the Raiders coaching staff. Did you look in the defensive end that the Cowboys let go worth the pickup opposite of Max? Is that Tashawn guy? I don't know. I think you mentioned or someone mentioned someone. Gosh, I've got his name now. I'm drawing a blank. Give it to me. But yeah, Salvador Bruno says Trent Brown looked bad tonight against the Bills, missing blocks and blocking at bad time, giving up sacks. I heard that on the radio coming back from Raiders headquarters on the way home. Setting up for my live stream. Trent Brown is struggling today. I'm like, man, I used to cover Trent Brown. I got some Trent Brown stories for you because, again, when he was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers, I was the one that was asking him because the dude was like a 360-pound behemoth of a man. So I was like, man, that's good. I get to talk to. And then everyone in the workroom was like, hey, Beast, can you ask him a question about his weight? I'm like, sure, dude, let's do it. I want to ask him. So I asked him. I said, hey, Trent. I was like, hey, what is your diet like? What do you eat like as far as your diet is concerned? He's like, oh, I really didn't have a diet. I ate whatever I want. And we're like, oh, okay. Like I was surprised. I thought he would be like, oh, I kind of, I make sure I have a good percentage of my proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. And, I eat these types of foods to kind of keep my weight. No, he was just like straight up, like I eat whatever I want. Like I was like, oh, talk about recovery. Talk about getting your body right. There must be some kind of a clause in your contract if body analysis was hit that you wouldn't go and have a de-escalator in there. In fact, the Niners did have de-escalators. How do I know? Because a lot of them are my friends till now. And obviously I reported it. So in real time, but no, it's GM Trent Baalke would have de-escalators in people's contracts to where if you gained weight or if you lost weight, you get penalized for it, depending on what that weight was. So that's why you have weigh-ins. A lot of people don't talk about the weigh-ins, but the weigh-ins are a huge thing. The Raiders do it. They have weigh-ins. Every good team has weigh-ins. Like if you're not weighing in your play, like how do you know what a healthy weight is to be? So there is some kind of baseline there. But when it came to like Trent Brown, it's funny because like I remember asking him the question. He's like, "Oh yeah, I eat whatever." And then it's like, "Oh," like I was like, "Oh, like what do you mean? What? Oh, I eat what? Like gummy bears?" Like I was like, "Oh." I always remember that. In fact, I could probably pull up the transcript right now and read it back to you guys. Terrell Basham, that's what it is. Terrell Basham. He's all right. I mean, like I said, I talked to him about him a little bit yesterday. I have to watch more film, but I don't think they're going to be doing anything crazy. I think they like the guys that they have. Jerry Tillery obviously is in there in the middle. Andrew Billings really showed up. So the iron sharpens iron mentality. When you add a guy in there like that, it's really going to put a lot of pressure because who are you going to leave out? I mean, you still have to see what you have in Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler, who've been healthy scratches on and off throughout the season. And those guys you drafted, right? You didn't draft these guys. And I talked about it with Coach McDaniels. You didn't draft these guys to ride the pine. You drafted these guys so they can play. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, they're just not getting playing time. And I think a lot of it has to stem from what the coaching staff is seeing throughout the duration of practice. I don't know that, but that's just my line of thinking from their perspective. I'm not saying I'm seeing that because I'm not seeing that, but I'm saying from their perspective, that's probably what they're seeing in their minds, not in my mind, in their minds. They're probably saying, oh, look, he's probably not getting it or for whatever reason, so we're not going to activate him. Look, if you're not getting it in their minds on Monday through Friday, you won't be active on game days. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, or I'm not saying that's the reason why it's happening. Look, I don't know the reason, but what I will say is from a coaching perspective and how the Raider way is established with Coach McDaniels and obviously GM Dave Ziegler is you have to win throughout the work week. And how do you be active on game days is you have to show them that you can actually do it for the duration of the work week to be active on game days. So they have the trust in you on game day to get it done. And so I'm not so sure that they have that confidence level in them for them to be active week in and week out. So if you bring in a guy like Terrell Basham, now you're just throwing one more guy in there. And it's like, okay, yeah, I get the iron sharpens iron mentality, but then why'd you draft Neil Farrell and Matthew Butler? In order to see what you need going forward in 2023, you need to see what you have first. And in order to do that, you need to give these guys playing time. Now, I'm not saying give these guys playing time just to give them playing time. But at the end of the day, how do you know if you need to keep these guys on the roster or not if you don't give them playing time and let them see what they can do? Like, aside from practice, like practice is one thing. And let me just tell you something about practice. We're talking about practice, not a game. We're talking about practice. Allen Iverson. No. Some guys practice horribly and then shine on game days. And then the vice versa happens. I've been on teams where guys playing games really well and practice poorly, or vice versa, right? They play really well in practice, but on game days, they're nowhere to be found. So I think from a fan perspective, and I'm just speaking from a fan perspective as if I was a fan, which I'm not, but from your guy, Raider Nation perspective, I think you guys would be happy to see Matthew Butler and Neil Farrell in the lineup, because at the end of the day, it's almost like this. Like I said, like, how do you know that you need a defensive tackle on the interior if you don't give Neil Farrell or Matthew Butler the reps needed to kind of showcase what they can do on game days? Now, you have to earn that. I understand that. They're not just going to give it to you because you were drafted in the 4th or 5th round. But at the end of the day, you also have to take it with a grain of salt and say, look, okay, I understand that. But at the end of the day, like, I need to tell my scouts like what we have. And in order to do that, we need to play some of these guys and at least give them better reps. That's just what I'm thinking. That's just what I'm thinking. All right. Let's see. Tupac 100 says, you think Zeus will get more than 2 to 4 snaps or more snaps? I think you're asking is if Zeus is getting. Look, I talked to Zeus today inside the locker room and Britton Brown. I love these guys. I think I talked to people were asking, and you guys asked me who I talked to the most, and I would say it's Kyle Pecco, my guy Kyle Pecco, Amik Robertson. Well, let's go down the list. Jarrett Stidham, I always talk to him every day. He always gives me crap. In fact, as soon as I walk in, he calls me a fake Alabama fan because I had my San Diego State stuff. Oh, you're a fake fan. And I told my friends in the workout, I was like, watch, Jarrett Stidham's going to call me a fake, quote unquote, fake fan. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just getting it like crazy, like accurate to exactly what people are saying. I was like, watch, Jarrett Stidham's going to joke with me saying I'm a fake fan because I'm wearing San Diego State today. Oh, you're a fake fan. But he was joking around, obviously, coming from Auburn. But no, he gives me a lot of crap for it. But no, it's all fun and games. I like Jarrett a lot. But we were talking, and then he's a guy that I talk to a lot. I talked to Dylan Parham a lot. I talked to Zeus White, Britton Brown, the whole entire running back room, really. Amir Abdullah, of course, Josh Jacobs, talked to him a lot. Who else is there? Now, there's some people that aren't in the locker room that I don't even talk to. Like, I've never talked to people. Are like, who haven't you talked to? I haven't really talked to Rock Yassin that much. Like, I haven't really talked to Rock that much. Who else? Who else is there? I haven't really talked to that much. Most of the people are in there, though. Most of the players. Obviously, Amik, like I said, Amik, Roderick Teamer, Curtis Bolton, Jakob Johnson, Keelan Cole. Yeah, it's basically, I mean, just basically everyone. But no, Rock Yassin is one that's I haven't talked to him much, but he's a guy that that the team traded for, if you guys don't remember, with the Yannick Ngakoue trade. But as far as Zeus, will he get 2 to 4 snaps? I think he will. I think he'll get more than that, actually, because he had some runs. I think how you look at this moving forward with Zeus White is as it gets closer to the end of the year, again, you have to see what you have, right? Talked about it on Raider Nation Radio. You have to see what you have. In order to see what you have, you have to give Zeus White the touches. So give dominant Zeus White, as I asked him to describe his game in one word. He's like, dominant. Dominant Zeus White. You have to give this guy the touches. And he did well in 2 touches. I talked about it with Zeus yesterday on my player interviews. You guys can go ahead and see that after this video concludes, after this live stream concludes. But I talked about it with Zeus, and you have to see what he had to say about that and the questions I asked him. And I think he will, of course, be active again. It would be shocking to me if Zeus White was a healthy scratch from now until the end of the year. That's just my take. Call it a hot take. Not really that hot, but it was kind of interesting that he was a healthy scratch just 2 weeks prior. So, or something like that. I think it was 2 weeks prior. But getting back to Zeus White, I like what I see from Zeus White. I think he is very talented. He reminds me a lot, when talking to him, a lot like Frank Gore. I know this sounds crazy. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Frank Gore, but in talking to him and how he processes things, this guy gets football. So I'm really eager to see what Zeus White can really do. We all know that Josh Jacobs brings to the table. He's a one of a kind, Josh Jacobs. And if you were to ask me who I'd rather have, obviously I think the edge would go to Josh Jacobs, and I don't think there's any question about that. But again, if Josh Jacobs doesn't get what he think he's earned or he deserves, we have to know what. You can't go into the offseason with Zeus White touching the ball only 15 times throughout the year and be like, oh, yeah, you're going to be the workhorse, Zeus. You have to give this guy touches. So I think he's going to get, as the season goes on. In fact, they play the Chargers, right? So I think I wouldn't be surprised if Zeus toward the end of the year got, maybe upwards of 7, 10, 13 touches when it's all said and done toward the end of the year. I think you're going to see those carries incrementally increase because, like I said, from a GM perspective, you really have to see what you have in order to go into the offseason and free agency and then also the NFL draft. If you don't know what you have, you can't, it's like doing it blind. That's just going backwards. It doesn't work that way. Oh, all right. Keep It Real says, Beast, why don't we see more Malcolm Kuntz, Tayshaun Bauer? I saw both those guys in the locker room. I don't know. That's a good question. I talked to both those guys, obviously, on on a pretty consistent basis. And your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I wish I had more information for you, but I'm pretty sure all the beat writers are kind of like, because it is kind of concerning that you still have Chandler Jones in there, who's really not getting it done. I know you paid the guy 17 million APY, 3-year, $51 million to get it done, but he's just not getting it done. So I would love to see Tayshaun Bauer in there. I would love to see Malcolm Kuntz in there, but Malcolm Kuntz wasn't drafted by GM Dave Ziegler. You guys got to remember that. He is a holdover from the Gruden era. Salvatore says, why don't we see Britton Brown more? I understand JJ playing. Britton Brown might be a good short yardage plays. Yeah, I mean, look, Britton is the hammer. He's not the nail. He runs very, very hard. He's very tough. He's very physical. Look, like I said, it could be throughout the work week of practice. I really don't know. But what I do know is I know the formula of how to be active on game day. The formula is, based on the coaching staff, is they have to have trust in you throughout the work week for you to be active on game days. And that's everything from the film room, from the team meetings, and then translating it from the team meetings onto the practice field, and then doing it consistently, not just having one good day of practice and then a bad day and then a good day the next day. You have to be consistently good throughout the work week for you to be active on game days. So I know that's the formula. I don't know the reasoning behind. Maybe it could be a personnel issue. Maybe they wanted to go lighter on the backs and then solidify some of these other positions up front based on special teams. I don't know. But what I do know is Amir Abdul is the third down back. He's going to be the third down back. Josh Jacobs is the workhorse, and that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of where we're at right now. Rocker Corey says, JJ and Zeus would be killer 1-2 punch. Yeah, they would. What's up, G says, ask Blake Martinez if he's going to do Pokemon February 18th and 19th in Las Vegas at Sunset Park. I would if he was still on the team, bro. He actually retired. So Blake Martinez is no longer on the team. He retired, my guy. That would be interesting, though. That would, because he is a big Pokemon fan, as you are. Robert says, D-Man, salute, brother. All right. And my guy, What's Up G, is coming to visit me in Vegas. I got your text, What's Up G, and I'm very excited about that. All right. I think that's going to end this live stream. We're an hour and 32 minutes in, and we had a lot of questions today. I just wanted to go ahead and say thank you to everyone who chimed in and was asking me questions. It's been nothing but good vibes only here in the DOB. I also want to say a special thanks to Jamie for sending me the super chat and super sticker. It really means a lot. And like I said, all proceeds get funneled back into you guys, the Dark Side of Beast Rider family. And so thank you so much for doing that. I really appreciate it. And it makes these live streams worthwhile. And which is why I keep on doing them. I did back to back. Got super chats yesterday, got super chats today. So I'm going to be doing one tomorrow. So keep those coming. Also, hit the like button. There's 32 of you guys. Hit that like button and engage with me here on the social media platform. It really does us solid and helps push the algorithm to YouTube and other like-minded people in the Raider Nation like yourself who may or may not like the channel, but at least it's a recommended video and they can make that decision for themselves. So without further ado, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Again, if you have yet to subscribe to the channel or if you're new to just watching this, hit the subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner of your screen as you stay up to date on all things Beast in real time. Also, turn on the bell notifications so you guys get notified when I go live or when I upload. And last but not least, in every single YouTube video dating back to when I first started the DOB family, in the description box here on YouTube, you will see all my social media platforms. Please follow me on all of your social media platforms so you guys can stay up to date on everything that I do. I am on Facebook at Dark Side of Beast Rider, and then also on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Beast Rider. So holler at your boy, follow me, and that way you'll be entered for our weekly social media giveaways that we give out all day, every day. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I had a lot of fun. Take care now. Beast Rider out.